The Eagles got one of the steals of the draft in round 3. Kyle Krabs of the Draft Network here with everything you need to know about the Philadelphia Eagles 2022 NFL Draft Class. The Eagles entered into this year's NFL Draft looking to continue with some splash moves, and they certainly accomplished that. The Eagles making the postseason in 2021, a short-lived playoff appearance with a defeat at the hands of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Philadelphia looking to continue having some long-term flexibility while also leaving little room for their evaluation of quarterback Jalen Hurts. So when the Eagles got into the first round of this year's NFL Draft, trading up, it might have been a bit of a surprise that they selected Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia. But if you think about the Philadelphia Eagles and their defensive structure, this is a defense that implements a lot of too high safety looks. They do not have the most accomplished and physical second level of their defense. So having a nose tackle like Jordan Davis who can occupy at the line of scrimmage, create disruptive plays, prevent opposing offensive linemen from climbing and getting onto those linebackers and influencing the fits against the run, Jordan Davis is going to allow the Eagles to be a much more proficient run defense whilst also playing two high safety shells and limiting explosive plays in the passing game. That makes him a day one starter for the Philadelphia Eagles. Then there was, of course, the trade for A.J. Brown, a splash move that brings a stud wide receiver into the mix, a polar opposite skill set from what the Eagles drafted in the first round of last year's NFL Draft in Devontae Smith. But those skill sets are complementary. A.J. Brown, as a volume receiver with a lot of physicality to his game, brings an exciting element to this draft class that has to be acknowledged even if it wasn't a draft choice. The Eagles then drafted at 51 overall and selected their heir to Jason Kelce at the center position, Cam Jurgens from Nebraska. And while Jurgens might not see the field early this year, this decision gives us two answers on the offensive line. Landon Dickerson, who the Eagles drafted in the second round of last year's NFL Draft, is presumably a long-term starter at guard now, and that leaves Jurgens as the developmental player to play behind Kelce this year as the Eagles look to hone his skills. Jurgens has plenty of movement skills, plenty of upside, but he is raw as a player, and therefore this opportunity to potentially redshirt in 2022 is a valuable one in my eyes. The Eagles got one of the steals of the draft in round 3 at pick 83 with linebacker Nakobe Dean from the University of Georgia. Dean, the concerns are a chest injury that might influence his availability in 2022 and also his size and stature. But he's also used to playing behind Jordan Davis, who the Eagles drafted at 13 overall. So knowing that you're going to have the kind of space eaters in front of Nakobe Dean that Dean played with at Georgia gives you much more confidence that Dean can step up to the NFL level and find similar levels of success as what he had this past year at the University of Georgia. Dean is instinctual, he's smart, he's fundamentally sound, and he's somebody who I think gives a huge upgrade opportunity provided that he remains healthy. And I would not be surprised in the least bit if Dean ends up being a day one starter, assuming health allows it. On day 3, the Eagles made just 2 selections, drafting KYRON Johnson from Kansas at pick 181 and tight end Grant Calcaterra at 198. Johnson is a bit of a tweener. He's undersized, but he showed up to the Senior Bowl and showcased plenty of speed off the edge. He's a defensive weapon who I think Philadelphia should look to as he builds out his skill set. Find creative ways to get him on the field in your sub packages when you are looking to bring heat at opposing quarterbacks. But he's going to be a special teams player from the jump. I do think he makes this roster for Philadelphia. I love his energy despite being an undersized player, and I think there's a clear pathway for him making an impact as a teams player with pass rush upside long term. Calcaterra can ball. There's no question. Once upon a time, the former Oklahoma tight end was revered as one of the top tight ends in the country, but that was before concussions took their toll and prompted Calcaterra to retire before unretiring and playing at SMU and now being a top 200 draft selection. The Eagles certainly love their multi-tight end sets they have across several offenses from several coaching staffs, and Calcaterra has the opportunity to serve as a move piece who can create mismatches with linebackers on the second level. And if he does that, that will be a win for the Eagles. I do expect his transition to the pro game to be a slow but steady one. That's all you need to know for the Eagles 2022 NFL Draft class. Make sure you hit subscribe on the channel and get up to speed on all 32 classes, and visit thedraftnetwork.com for all your NFL, college football, and NFL draft needs.